Hello everyone, it's Key of W here again with more Artisan of Glimmith. So I'm now going back through the game. We've finished the main part of it. Now we're just trying to gild all of our windows. It's actually more than that. We just went through and restored windows to a regular amount. Where's a restored window with a regular amount? Like this. This window way in the back. We did the minimum amount of puzzles. You do a few more puzzles, you can make it silver. A few more puzzles from there, you gild it. That was as far as we could take it before we finished the main game. Now we can bejewel the windows. So we're going to go back through and bejewel all of the windows. I'm back in this early area, the Gemini Delta area. We have one more puzzle left. It is the highest difficulty puzzle. I'm going to give it a shot. Hopefully it doesn't take me an hour and 45 minutes. I would hate that, but this could be a real problem for me. We'll see. So the only shapes we have, a 2x2 O shape, a 2x3, whatever you call this, and a 3x3 big O shape. So what can we put where? Well, I'm going to say let's use yellow if I don't know what the shape is. I'm just going to start with that. I do know that whatever goes in this corner has to extend both left and down at least one space. So it could be this O shape, it could be this shape, it could be this shape, or it could be the full thing. We also know over here we have the same idea. We could have two O shapes here. This spot has to also, all the corners really have to do this, every corner. And in fact, every place where there's any sort of corner piece has to have that setup. Here and there. All right, what can we take from this? All right, in this corner, if this were an O piece, an O tetromino, what would go here? There is no way to have any piece that is not at least 2x2. This wouldn't work. So we have to extend at least that far. That means this piece can't be a big O. If this piece is a big O, we can't fit one there. It's not going to work anywhere. It's going to cause a problem. Therefore, this is, I'm going to call this one, I'm just going to say teal. This is the piece. I'm guessing. I could be wrong, but I think my logic so far is correct. That means there's one here as well. I don't know which direction it goes, up or down, but I know that it has to extend to the left. That means this piece can be an O or this thick pillar piece. Don't know what I'd call it. The 2x3. Could be either one of those. We're not sure. This must be a different piece than the 2x3, but I don't know what it is. That might be the only gimme we get in this entire puzzle. This has to be a different shape. Well, this is now a corner piece, right? Think of it as a corner because we're blocked in here. So we have to have that, which means one of these two pieces needs to extend there. It could be this guy, because then this one just doesn't extend down, because it has to be a different shape there. We would just extend it here. But whatever it is, this can't be a 3x3, because now we would have a problem there. So it could be a 2x3 extending down, or this one could... hold on. Nope. We know we have this. That is really non-negotiable, according to the logic I've used, which... God, I hope it's correct, because I don't want to be on this for 2 hours going back and forth. If this is if this is not a 2x2 and it goes up into that space and makes it 2x3, what shape could possibly go here? We'd have to have a different shape. Great, but this is now the same shape. That's not a different shape anymore. We can't do it. Therefore, this doesn't move there. This piece moves down. So this piece can't be a 2x2. But it can't be a 3x3 because then we have a problem there. So we have another 2x3 here. This piece cannot be a 3x3. Is it a 2x2 or a 2x3 piece? Well, if it's a 2x3 piece, it would extend here. And now we have the same shape across the delta. So it isn't. This is a 2x2 piece. All right. So how do we do this next bit? This section here. Because I'm not 100% sure of this piece. We know this piece can't be a 2x3, but it could stay where it is as a 2x2 or come out and be No, hold on a second. I'm just looking at this delta. I know actually it has to be a 2 by 3, but it can't extend downward because we can't cross there. So the 2 by 3 must be like so. So we need a different piece in this corner, and it could be a 2 by 2 or a 3. No, hold on. Now we have a Gemini. Gemini means they must be the same shape. So we must have another 2 by 2. That creates another corner here, which extends there. We must have 2 by 2 at least. And now we have our big O shape. Because this delta means we can't have a 2 by 2. This delta means can't have a 2 by 3. So we're going to make this a 3 by 3. And God, I hope I got it right. That's going to put another corner here, which is going to force a 2 by 2, meaning we have to put a border there. We're forced into this move, and then in this space here, we'd have to have another 2 by 2, because if we make this... Yeah, there's just no other way. There has to be at least 2 by 2, but there can't be 2 by 4. That's that. This can't be anything more than 2 by 2 either, because if it extends, down, it creates an orphan cell there. This piece must now be a 2 by 3. This piece can't be a 3 by 3, but it could be a 3 by 2. No. Hold on. We have a Gemini, so it must be that. And then this obviously must be a different cell. So now we need a piece in this section, but it could be a 2 by 3. We don't know. In fact, I think there has to be between this and this corner. Should think about these corners. Has to be a 2 by 3 in there somewhere. Ah, hold on. Now over here, how can we possibly make this anything else? We could bring it up as a 2 by 3. No, we can fit another O. I was thinking if there's two 2 by 3s, we're screwed. We're fine. We're totally fine. So this piece, I could have a 2 by 3 here and a 2 by 3 there. It doesn't break the puzzle at all. But I do know that I have to block those. This is now a corner of something, so we do have to do this. This is a corner. These pieces must be different. So we are set with an O piece here, which is going to require a 2 by 3 piece there. And God, I hope I've got this right. And then it's going to put that there. So now the question is, what do we do there? We can't have a 2 by 3 here. We could have a 3 by 3 without really any problems. This is now a corner. And it must be a 2 by 3, but I don't know which direction it goes, left or down. This is a corner, has to do that, but I don't know. It can't go down this direction at all, because then we would have a problem there. So we must block it here. So it could be 2 by 3, it could be 2 by 2. This now has to be a corner, but it has to extend into this space because no other piece can. So it's either 2 by 3 or 3 by 3. This piece no longer can extend here. It can. It can't be a 2 by 3 like this, but it could be a 3 by 3. It's fine. This has to be a 2 by 3, and it only has one way to go. That puts a corner here. So we have another forced 2 by 2. Once again, really hoping I got this right. This piece is a corner, and it must extend upward at least. So it's got to be at least 2 by 3, but I don't know if it's 3 by 3. Seems like there's multiple solutions for this top corner. It's just a matter of what goes here. This must be a corner, so we have that. This piece is a separate piece from either of those. Now it can't be a 2 by 2 there, but it could easily be a 2 by 2 here. It's really nothing stopping me. This is also possible. We don't know. Don't know what this is. Neither of these are 3x3s. So one of these spaces is a 2x2. One of them is a 2x3. I know that much. Damn. Do I have another move I can make that's an obvious thing? Something goes here that has to extend downward a space, right? This has to be, it's a piece. It's not attached there or there. Nor there, nor there. So it's its new piece. And since it has to be at least 2 spaces moving in this direction, you can't have that. It's not going to happen. It also has to go down there. So we either have a 2x3 or a 3x3. Now, if I did 3x3 going this way, this piece would have to extend. And now, well, this would also have to be a 3x3. That's totally possible. Okay, I was thinking, can I break the puzzle? If I just extend this way, this is doable because now we have this set. This is how we would set that up. If I just set it up here, though, I would have to do... Is there any way this is extended? Yes. This is a possible. So, yeah, I still don't have an answer here. I just know that that has to be where it is. Is there any world where this is the case? Hold on a second. Let's actually follow the rules of the puzzle. There's a delta here. I cannot make this a 2x3. It has to be a 3x3, which is going to force it into this spot. So that means that this 2x3 must extend to the left, because it has to extend and it can't go down. Duh. Now this piece either is 2x2 or 3x3. If it's 2x2, it has to be this shape. And now what the hell goes down there? Therefore, this is 3x3 must connect with this piece. And that does, in fact, force this to be a 3x3 and this to be a 3x3. And now we have this shape figured out. Once again, we have this happening. Who takes this spot? It has to be my good friend I just created. This has to at least go up, but it can't be a 3x3. It has to be a 2x3. Oh dear. Who goes here? It's got to connect to this piece, and I think it's done, which means this must be 2x2. Which is going to force this to at least out that far. It's got to be a 3x3. Which is going to make a couple of these. I think this is fine. Please, God, let this be okay. Okay, I think I've solved this puzzle. No, I haven't. No! Oh, hold on. This is an easy fix. Okay. That would have been fun. I bet everyone watching saw me make this mistake early on and were shouting at the TV screen. And thankfully, this wasn't a mistake that took me an hour to fix. It just was a quick, didn't notice it. That's another thing. Once there's enough symbols and the puzzle's large enough, it's really easy for me to go neurodivergent brain and miss something and just, just kind of write it off and then forget it for later, which is really frustrating. But what I love about this puzzle, besides the fact that it didn't take me 1 hour and 30 minutes to going around in circles, was like the joy of finding every new step that I could do. Hold on, this is going to drive me absolutely nuts. Is the joy of like all the different steps of this puzzle, and that like even though it's this huge puzzle that looks like there's nowhere to break in, there are in fact logical steps you can follow, and at no point did I ever do, well, let me try something and see what happens when I do it. No point did I have to do that. Perfect little puzzle here. 5 stars. All right, well, that only took 15 minutes. I'm going to continue and do a few more puzzles down in this area. Oh, that unlocked this one, I think. Well, let's do it. Let's do this puzzle down here. All regions. Oh, no. No, don't make me rotate shapes in my mind. No, please, God, no. Okay, so what is this? No. From the high of that 7 puzzle to the low of this. Okay, somebody down here. Okay, this part must either be this endpoint, or this little dead end. If it's this endpoint, it either moves this way, and then it would have to move to the right. We can't do that. It moves this way, and then it would be bad. The same with this one. It would cause an orphan. So I think it has to be this piece here, which makes it... Okay, I can do this. I can rotate the shape in my mind. So moving this way, it's flipped like so, and then this one comes up like that. Cool, which means this is the shape here. Now, how does this go? There? Yes, that's it. If I do this, the game will tell me if the shape is wrong. I don't think I'm special in my inability to rotate shapes in my mind. I'm not unable to. It's just not something that comes very naturally to me. Certain elements of the logic of this game is really natural to me and I really enjoy. The rotating shapes I don't enjoy because it doesn't come easy for me. It's really not pleasant. Okay, so this piece here could be a part of that. If I did this, it would be here. I think it's doable. All right, that was unpleasant. I don't think there's anything wrong with that puzzle. It was just asking me to do something that's very uncomfortable for me. I'm going to do a 5-er. Let's see how this goes. By the time we hit the difficulty 5s, sometimes I feel like it could take 2 minutes, it could take 40. I have no idea. All regions must be L shapes. Let's just make them easy. Okay, that's for sure. That's for sure. This L shape is given. Nothing I can do about that. This shape cannot move rightward. That makes a shape here. One there. Okay. That's possible. This is possible. No, hold on. Yeah, this is possible. Because we have a lot of options here. Huh. This is not possible. We can't move right. Because then what do we put in this little 2x2 space? We have to move left, we have to move left, now we have to move that down, and we have to move that up. This should all be correct. This goes up. If it moves up, we're screwed. So I think it has to move that way, which is going to force us to make a couple moves here. Boy, I hope this is all correct. It is. Nice. How about this? Oh, a 2. I missed this 2. All regions must be this shape. This isn't the worst shape to rotate my mind. I suppose if I did like a lot of puzzles with sextominoes, or I guess how you say it when you have 6 pieces, I would eventually learn the shapes, but I don't know them. Like pentominoes, tetrominoes, whatever. The shapes, you deal with them so many times, you just learn how they work. But this one I don't know. So if I made this piece like the nub, we would have a problem. So it isn't that. It is... How do I do... Okay, I'm going to find a different spot. This piece... This can't be it, because then... This piece I think has to move down. Then there. I think that's it. Okay. Again, it's just not pleasant when they make me do that. Alright, I'm going to look for stuff without looking for the secret bits yet. Or pressing tab here. I think I can find them on my own. We got some 3s and 4s over here. Let's hit those. All regions must be one of these shapes, 2x3 or the I tetromino. All right, let's take a look at this spot right here. We can't fit a tetromino, therefore it has to be 2x3. That's the forced shape right off the bat. Let's see. Is there any place I can't fit a tetromino? Doesn't look like it. Looks like every other space could be part of a tetromino. Yes. Okay, that was our one gimme. This space here, this might be our clue. Because if I make this a 2x3 space, then I would have to make a tetromino here, and then I can't put anything in here. Therefore, this is part of a tetromino, an I shape. I'm just going to make an I shape up there. Those two are done. Now, this piece right here can only be part of the big shape, like so. This can only be part of the big shape. This can only be part of the big shape. Let's continue from there. I think I just see the answer to this puzzle. There we go. How about this one? All regions must be a triomino or a 2x2. This one looks a little harder to break into, because I could easily put this here. Actually, I can't, because now it breaks the puzzle here. So this is part of a triomino, which has got to go up. Now this piece has to be part of an O. That's going to put a triomino there. It's going to give us some problems down there in the future, I think. This has to be a triomino. I just don't know which direction it's going to go. This way. This way causes problems. Because then what do you put here? Right? So I think it just has to go out this way. And that's our answer on that side. This can't be here because then we would have a lot of trouble up there. So we're going to make a couple more triominoes here. Done! The second law of puzzling. Whenever you find a pair of cells that cannot be connected, draw a border between them. The game really wanted me to do these puzzles earlier. And if that's the case, they should have put them more in my way. All regions must be one of these shapes. Well, this is a forced shape. We can't, right? No, it's not, right? Because I can make a C shape, right? So that means draw a border here. That's forced. Great. This piece can't be part of a C shape. Where could it go? So it's an elbow. This could be part of a C shape, which means, I don't know, it could be an elbow in either direction, but that has to be blocked. This piece has to come out and block there. This piece has to come out and block there. So I see what the game is getting at here. That's got to be blocked. Is there any other spot? Whatever's in this corner here can't be a C shape? No, the only C shape I see is that. So this is an elbow. This one is at least an elbow. This one's at least an elbow. This is at least an elbow. Now do that. This is at least an elbow. But it can't connect there, which does mean we have to bring this down. So we are forced to put a C shape there. This can't be a C shape because it would go up there. So no thank you to that. If I put an elbow here, we're kind of screwed. So I think we do have to have a C shape there. Right, this is the last C shape. The rest of these are elbows. Cool puzzle. That's a good one. Do I get a third law of puzzling? No? No third law, just two laws? Fine. Elbows, S pieces, W pieces. Oh, so this is similar to the one I crashed out on a couple videos ago. So looking at this shape down here, if we move up, it's an automatic loss because it'll either be an elbow here or an S piece. But either way, make it an orphan. So this piece has to move to the right, at least. Do we have a similar issue down here? No. How do we get in there? We can't cross like this. We have to have a border there. So this is required and that is required. So who's there? Elbow piece goes here. That's set. Has to be blocked. That's blocked. Which means whatever piece goes here if this piece were to be stopped here, we'd have to make this, now what do we do there? So I believe this has to be an S, which is going to require elbows here, and then at least an elbow from there. Here's another spot where we need a border there, at least this far. This could be an S. If this was an S piece, this would have to be its own new piece, and now we have a problem up there. Therefore, we have to stop the piece here with 3. Now, I can't make this happen, because what am I going to put in these 2 pieces? Actually, particularly this one, there's always going to be an orphan, because that or that. So that's not how we work this one. This way? No. How do I do this piece here? No, this is probably wrong then. But no, I can't do this. It does have to be an elbow. Oh, no, of course. This way is fine, because I just make it part of a W piece. And then we have this going on, and then that's just an elbow. This piece here can't do that. We won't fit a piece there. So this piece has to be included. It can't be there because it orphans it. So we must have this, and it's only 3 spaces. This is only 3 spaces. This one can only be 3 spaces because as soon as we make 4, we cause a problem there. This must be a 5. And then this must be a 5, and we have a 4. Good puzzle there. Let's grab... I'm not grabbing that 7 right now, that's for sure. All regions must be... Oh no, the shapes are too big. Okay. Let's look in this little cubby hole. What shape can go there? Is there any way I could, for example, put a border in that spot? No. Because what shape has this bend, this elbow bend? None of them have an elbow bend. This shape, the elbow bend has to be at least a V pentomino. In fact, we can think of this as 2 V pentominos, basically. One V pentomino is just extended out from the from one of the points, and the other V pentomino is extended out from the center. So we have to put a V pentomino in here or here. This one would extend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one would extend like that. Either way, we have the other shape. So this is a big L, this is a big T. That's really all I can think. I could have this, I could also have it this way and have a big T here. But then what would I put in this section? Because this has to be at least 3 out. So no to this. I think we're forced to make this move. But what do I do here? 3, 4, 5. That's, I think we're forced to make this move. I think we have this. We have a space there. This can't be right at all. Okay, I'm guessing. I'm totally guessing. Don't do that. Don't guess. But I know this doesn't work because once we have this space here, right? These are shapes we can use, but this won't work because this piece has to come out and it can't go any further because we don't have anything that goes just 4 spaces. So it has to then bend up, but now we have nothing we can put in there. So we know this space has to be done here. Coming out, what space does this one take? It's it's got to take that one. So we have to bend. So we have an elbow piece here, and then it has to extend from the center either this way or that way, which means this is not part of it. It has to extend at least this far. Can't extend any further, can't break there. So it has to bend up for sure, and then it has to bend down or we're in trouble here, meaning this one is now, that one's solved there. We can't do anything else. This has to be its own piece that moves up. This has to be its own piece that moves up. This one is now complete. This is now complete. I can't bend into here. I cannot bend into there. If I bend this way, I have to go like that. Now, what do I put here? So this means I would have to take it all the way here. This doesn't work either. Don't ask me to rotate shapes in my mind. Once again, this is the move. Okay. What goes here? That's part of this. What goes here? Part of that. Can't do that. Now we have to do this. And now this one's got to come up. This one's got to come up here. This would be required. No, this is it. This is it. Because then we can make a piece here. Does this work? No. This certainly doesn't. This certainly doesn't either. Have I got it one of these shapes wrong? This is a shape. This is a shape. This is a shape. But now none of this is gonna work. This right? Is this the right amount of spaces? It must be the right. It must be. There's no other way to do that. Well, that's no fun. Handful of gold. Guild 5 windows. Great. 6, 3. I'm gonna do a slightly easier one I like a little more. I didn't really like that puzzle at all. S's and T's. Now we're talking. So for sure, we've got to have shapes that escape there. This can't be an S piece because we would have a problem. So we're going to have our T piece here. If this were an S piece moving down, we would be in trouble. So it can't be that. If it's an S piece, it moves up. That's totally fine. This can't be an S piece that moves down. This has to be another T piece. I think I just see the answer to this one. It's going to be S pieces for the rest of it. Nice. This one easy as well. Let's do this one. Big T and then a cross shape. They're all pentominoes. I think this is forced to be a T shape. There's really not much we can do about that. This one also has to be a T shape. Not sure if it moves right or down, but it does take these spaces. Either takes these two or these two now. This must be a T shape. Now here has to be a cross shape. There's nothing we can do about it. So this T is now set. That's set. And then it's all crosses. Cool. We've gotten much further into this section. Gilded it. There's 7 more puzzles, which include some difficult ones. So I think I'm going to pause the video here because it's been about half an hour. That's a good length. Good puzzle solving. Once again, highly recommend this one. This is such a good puzzle. And we'll continue in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you then. Have a good one. Bye.